Once you hear these, you'll understand that women don't wake up one morning and lose attraction for no reason. Attraction is something that is lost slowly through your actions accumulated over time. Men never realize this until she suddenly says, "It's over." In this video, I'll show you 7 of those actions, why they kill attraction, and how wise men avoid them. So remove all distractions and watch attentively till the end. Let's go. 1. You made her the center of your life. It starts with availability. You cancel your plans. You rearrange your schedule. You respond instantly every time. Then it goes deeper. Your mood starts rising and falling based on her replies. A good text gives you energy. Silence drains you. Without saying a word, you show her that your life pauses when she's not present. And the moment a woman senses that, attraction begins to fade. Not because she's cruel, but because dependence is heavy, especially for women. This doesn't mean you lost her by caring. You lost her by abandoning your direction to keep the connection alive. A man with a mission, routines, and priorities pulls attention without asking. The moment you made her your center, she stopped seeing you as hers. 2. You brag a lot without any real action to back your claims. This one is subtle, but attraction often drops the moment it appears. You start showcasing achievements, mentioning wins, highlighting what you've done, what you own, what you're becoming, trying so hard to be seen. And here's the problem: the need to prove value usually signals doubt about having it. A grounded man doesn't advertise himself. His life speaks without narration. His competence shows through how he moves, how he speaks, how calm he is in his own skin. When you force your greatness into conversation, you interrupt attraction instead of building it. Because attraction isn't created by information, it's created by presence. Women don't want to be convinced, they want to discover. The moment you start explaining why you're impressive, you shift from confident to compensating, and compensation quietly kills desire. A man who knows his worth doesn't rush to display it. He lets time, behavior, and consistency do the talking. 3. You dumped your emotional weight on her. Attraction doesn't disappear because a man has emotions. It disappears when he makes a woman responsible for regulating them. There's a critical difference most men miss. Healthy openness is controlled, measured, and grounded. Emotional dumping is unfiltered, constant, and needy. When you start unloading your problems, when you vent without direction, when you look to her for reassurance, stability, or saving, you reverse the polarity. She no longer feels drawn to you. She feels responsible for you. Attraction requires emotional safety, and safety disappears when a man collapses into someone else for support. The man she was attracted to could carry his own weight. He handled pressure quietly. He processed problems without bleeding them into the relationship. This doesn't mean pretending you're invincible. It means choosing strength first, expression second. A grounded man doesn't hide pain, but he also doesn't make it her burden. The moment you turned her into your emotional anchor instead of your partner, attraction dies. 4. You stopped leading the dynamic. Early on, you led without thinking about it. You decided, you planned, you moved with certainty. Then, slowly, that certainty disappeared. You stopped setting direction. You started asking permission. What do you want to do? Is this okay? Whatever you prefer. You deferred too often. You waited to be chosen instead of choosing, and without realizing it, you shifted from leader to follower. A woman feels safe when a man knows where he's going, even if the plan changes along the way. She feels drawn to a man who can make a call, take responsibility, and stand behind his choices. But when leadership disappears, uncertainty takes its place, and uncertainty drains desire. A man who can't lead his own life cannot lead a relationship dynamic. If you hesitate in small things, it signals hesitation in bigger ones. The moment you stopped leading, she stopped relaxing into her attraction. 5. You tolerated disrespect to avoid losing her. This is the silent killer because it doesn't happen all at once. It starts small. A jab disguised as a joke, a dismissive tone, a subtle lack of consideration, and you notice it, but you ignore it. Not because you didn't feel it, but because you didn't want tension. You didn't want to ruin the vibe. You didn't want to risk losing her, so you let it slide. And in doing that, you send a subtle message that you value her presence more than your standards. That message changes everything. The moment a man negotiates his self-respect, attraction begins to erode. Not because boundaries are aggressive, but because boundaries signal strength, clarity, and self-worth. A woman doesn't lose attraction because a man speaks up. She loses attraction because he doesn't. Disrespect unchallenged becomes permission, and permission turns into a pattern. A disciplined man understands that loss of respect always comes before loss of attraction. The moment you tolerated what you should have addressed, she felt the shift. And once self-respect becomes optional, desire doesn't survive. 6. You started seeking reassurance. Attraction drops the moment a man starts asking questions he already feels insecure about. Are we okay? Do you still like me? Did I do something wrong? These questions don't create closeness. They don't deepen connection. They expose instability, which is far more damaging. The moment you ask for reassurance, you reveal that her emotions now control your internal state. You're no longer grounded in yourself. You're auditing her feelings, hoping for confirmation that you're still safe. A confident man doesn't interrogate emotions. He watches behavior. If her energy changes, he notices. If her effort drops, he adjusts. He doesn't panic. He doesn't beg for clarity, because clarity is already there, in actions, not words. When you seek reassurance, you hand her emotional authority over you. You say, without meaning to, tell me how to feel about myself. And once a woman senses that power shift, attraction starts slipping, not out of malice, but because strength doesn't need permission to exist. Confidence is quiet. Insecurity announces itself. The moment you asked her to stabilize you emotionally, she stopped feeling anchored by you. 7. You changed yourself to keep her. This is the turning point, and often the most damaging one. You didn't change overnight. You adjusted. You softened your opinions. You filtered your thoughts. You stopped saying what you really thought, not because you evolved, but because you wanted to remain acceptable. You became more agreeable, less challenging, more careful, and on the surface it looked like compromise, but underneath it was self-erasure. The man she was originally drawn to didn't need to be edited. He spoke freely. He stood by his views. He wasn't afraid of disagreement or tension, but the moment you started reshaping yourself to keep her, you sent a quiet signal. I'm afraid of losing you. And fear is not attractive. When a man abandons himself to preserve a connection, he guarantees the opposite outcome, because the very qualities that created attraction in the beginning disappear in the process. You didn't lose her by being too real. You lost her by becoming less of yourself. When a man trades authenticity for approval, interest fades. Every time. If you learned something from this video, consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with friends and family. I'll see you in my next post.